I thought we could do something a little different today. I find myself still struggling with a disconnect that I cannot trace the source of. I went hiking this weekend and was able to find a mild reset. I thought we could explore this reset together. And instead of looking at my hooded red eyes, I'd share my photos and videos taken on the hike in an attempt to show why this way of reconnecting works so well. There are moments in each of our lives when the world feels as if it's spinning off its axis, when our internal compass sputters and the sense of being centered slips quietly beyond our reach. In these times, the familiar comforts of home and routine may suddenly feel like burdens, or worse, cages. Our minds race with questions, worries, and doubts. We scroll endlessly, seeking meaning or distraction, only to feel more removed. The disconnection, though invisible, is vivid and visceral. A gnawing ache, a persistent whisper that something essential is missing. What if, in these moments, the answer isn't to look inward, to wrestle with our minds and demand clarity from confusion? What if, instead, the solution lies not in further introspection, but in shifting our focus outward, toward the world, toward movement, toward the restorative embrace of nature, just beyond our doorstep? Sometimes all it takes to calm your mind, to reclaim your sense of self, is to get in your car, drive to a trailhead, and start walking. The woods, the trails, the very act of exploration, these become our Control, Alt, Delete button, resetting our mental and emotional state and reconnecting us with the pulse of our own lives. Before we can reconnect, we must first understand the nature of our disconnection. It manifests in a myriad of forms, be that anxiety, restlessness, lack of focus, or a general sense that we don't quite belong, not even to ourselves. Modern life, with its relentless pace and digital saturation, makes these feelings almost inevitable. We are constantly bombarded by notifications, opinions, demands on our attention, and the unrelenting pressure to perform, respond, and improve. It's no wonder that we feel lost. The noise is deafening. The to-do lists never end. Even our leisure time is often structured around productivity or the creation of a certain image for others to consume. We're so busy being for the world that we lose track of what it means to simply be for ourselves. The result is a profound sense of alienation, not just from others, but from the very core of who we are. Our thoughts pile on top of one another, a tangled web of shoulds and musts, until our true desires and needs are buried beneath the debris. When the mind is cluttered and the spirit weary, there's a deeply embedded instinct to seek change, not in the form of escape, but in the form of movement. It's as if our bodies know what our minds have forgotten, that we are creatures meant to engage with the world physically, not just intellectually or emotionally. This is where exploration, in its simplest form, becomes a lifeline. The act of getting in your car, finding a trail, and walking into the woods is not about running away from problems. It's about giving your mind and soul the space to breathe, to wander, and eventually to find their way back home. Consider the beauty of this act. There is no agenda, no need for achievement or validation. You do not have to hike the tallest mountain. You only need to be present, to listen to the crunch of gravel beneath your boots, to feel the subtle shift of wind through the trees, to notice the patterns of sunlight dappling the earth. With each step, the noise of daily life recedes. Your breath slows. Your senses awaken to the world around you, to the scent of pine, the distant call of a bird, the subtle rhythm of your own heartbeat. Here in the woods, The world is both larger and more intimate. Here, you remember that you are a part of something vast, intricate, and enduring. The transformative power of nature is not just poetic, it is well documented by science. Studies in psychology and neuroscience consistently show that time spent in natural environments reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, improves mood, and restores cognitive function. This phenomenon, sometimes known as attention restoration theory, suggests that our brains, overwhelmed by the demands of modern life, recover best when exposed to the gentle, undemanding stimuli of the outdoors. The very act of walking, too, is medicine. Rhythmic movement in nature stimulates the production of endorphins and serotonin, the body's natural mood elevators. The bilateral coordination required for walking has been shown to have a calming, organizing effect on the brain, helping to process emotions and recalibrate thought patterns. Simply put, when you feel lost or disconnected, the woods offer a reset button more powerful than any screen or self-help book. They invite you to slow down, to pay attention, and to let the world hold you up for a while. There is a certain wisdom and simplicity, a kind of quiet magic that comes from doing something utterly basic and unadorned. When our problems feel overwhelming, the temptation is to seek complex solutions. Yet, more often than not, the best antidote is to pare life back to its essentials. Allowing your feet to carry you forward is an act of faith. Faith that the world will meet you and that you will meet yourself anew. There is no pressure to perform, no expectation to emerge healed or fundamentally changed. The woods ask only that you show up. They offer themselves as they are, unhurried, imperfect, alive. Along the way, you may find that the questions and worries that plagued you begin to lose their sharpness. Problems that seemed insurmountable shrink to manageable size. The rhythm of your footsteps becomes a soundtrack for clarity, and your mind, freed from incessant distraction, begins to settle. In the world of technology, pressing Control, Alt, Delete is a universal signal to stop, reset, and begin again. We use it when systems freeze, when processes become tangled and unresponsive. It interrupts the cycle, offering a clean slate. Exploring the woods is our human equivalent. It is a break in the endless cycle of overthinking and overdoing. It is permission to pause, to reset, and to return to the world with fresh eyes. We may not be able to delete our troubles, but we can reorganize them, set new priorities, and let go of what no longer serves us. This practice is available to all of us, regardless of circumstance. You do not need to be an avid hiker. You do not need expensive gear or a plan mapped out to the last detail. You need only the willingness to step outside and to trust that the world beyond your door still has the power to restore you. In the end, finding your center is less about achieving some mythical state of perfect peace and more about making room for yourself in the chaos. It is about remembering that you belong to the world, to others, and to yourself. When you feel lost, the solution may be as simple as finding a trail and letting your feet carry you forward. The woods will not answer all your questions. They will not fix all that is broken, but they will remind you gently and persistently that you are not alone. They will give you space to breathe, to listen, and to be. In their quiet, you will find your own. So the next time your mind feels cluttered and your spirit overwhelmed, remember, the reset you seek may be waiting just beyond the tree line. Let the world hold you, even for a little while. and trust that with each step, you are walking back to the very center of yourself.